Hey, what's up guys, this is Mizzotto, and whoa, nice. Well, alright then, Vanilla WoW is going to be coming out soon. A lot of people are going to need to level, and a lot of people are going to suck at it. And that's why I made this video. Because I've leveled a Warlock in retail Vanilla WoW, I've leveled a Warlock to max level on private servers, and to level 35 on Elysium. So I guess you could say that I'm the greatest Warlock of all time. By the way, I made some shirts.
Arms, big blades, taste the blade of my steel.
So let's get to the video and talk about Warlock leveling. So when you start leveling a Warlock, most people have it in their minds that they are going to be
The Prince of Darkness, with lots of skulls and lots of demons.
Now what?
Oh yeah, gotta go right up on those mobs and nuke them right in the face with my shadow bolts. Oh yeah, gotta dot them up with my aids and watch them die in agony.
If you try to level like that, just going balls to the wall, big dick the whole time, not only are you going to die because you pulled aggro from your Voidwalker right when you accidentally aggroed more ads, but you'll also die because when you get jumped by another player, you'll be out of mana. Then you'll have to spend global cooldowns life tapping just to fear something. When you get the fear off, you realize you're out of mana and out of health, things start snowballing, and it just becomes a bad situation. And if you don't happen to die a horrible, shameful death, you are still going to run out of mana, and you'll have to shamefully spend time recovering, with life tap and drain life, and it gets kind of complicated because you don't want to pull aggro from your Voidwalker with the drain life because of the heals, and here's what you do. Get a wand. Dot up your target and start shoving that wand right up there. Now I know some people are going to be like,
Wait, wands? Who do you think I am, Harry Potter? I've already spent fat gold on my Shadow Bolt rings. My enemies shall taste the skull of my bolts.
Now hear me out on this. The wand is the single most important piece of gear you have while leveling. They do incredible DPS. The first ones you want to get are either the Lesser Magic Wand at level 5 or the Greater Magic Wand at level 13. Now the next one you're likely to get after that is either Cookie Stirring Rod, some random green, Fire Belcher,
Or the Gravestone Scepter.
The Gravestone Scepter is very likely the most useful leveling weapon anyone could hope to receive. The quest to obtain this weapon is available at level 18 in Black Fathom Deeps. Most people won't be able to get it at level 18 because Black Fathom Deeps is like a mid-20s dungeon, but if by some miracle you're able to get into a group, you will get to experience the joys of this wand's destruction a few levels early.
The Gravestone Scepter does 29 DPS.
That's a higher base DPS literally than any other weapon for any other class for the next 10 levels. For example, Corpsemaker is level 29 axe and it only has 28.9 DPS. Now I know that that's not a perfect example for how much damage you're going to do in it because it doesn't take in any stats for extra damage like the Corpsemaker does, but it's still one hell of a wand. Keep in mind you'll have to be careful with this unholy wand of incredible power, because it's still pretty easy to pull aggro while using it from your Voidwalker. But hey, if you do pull aggro from your Voidwalker, at least you'll still have mana to do what you need to do. Also keep in mind when you don't cast for 5 seconds, your spirit starts kicking in and you start to regenerate mana. When you're wanding, you aren't casting spells, so you're recovering mana during combat time, killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
Or should I say 1 wand?
A wand. Hey, babe, get in here. Listen to this joke I just made. So Warlock leveling is a lot like Hunter leveling, right? I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about. They're similar in that the people that play these two classes are usually pretty terrible at the game. And also because they have pets that can tank. The things I see people doing most often on Warlocks, like I mentioned before, dotting up your target and just spamming Shadow Balls. Just going balls to the wall! Big dick, big balls to the wall! Dick! Just doing as much DPS as they possibly can. Obviously, this is not a good thing to do, as it unnecessarily wastes mana and health. Not only that, but you are also very likely to pull aggro when you're doing this. When you pull aggro, you'll cast Shadow Bolts less often because of the pushback. So not only are you wasting mana and health, but you're also losing DPS. Some people think wasting mana and health is okay because they have Drain Life and they will just spam that to recover. The problem with that is that it's not really a long-term solution because you're generating threat from the amount of damage and healing of Drain Life. So for example, as you can see here, I'm draining life at 31 damage per second. Then it's healing me for 31 health per second. Healing generates 50% of the threat of damage. So threat-wise, it's as though I'm doing about 56 damage per second to the target instead of 31. So unless you're very, very careful, you're going to have the same problem with spamming Drain Life as you were doing as much damage as you could. Like the targets are going to start going for you and hitting you, and then that's going to push back your Drain Life, making it less effective and ultimately making it almost useless because you're going to be spending more mana to use Drain Life than the amount of health you will receive for Drain Life. And since you convert health to mana, it's effectively mana. So your Drain Life becomes not worth using when that happens. Now don't get me wrong, you can still use Drain Life to recover, just do less damage in other places. Like if you need to use Drain Life to get some health back, maybe don't dot the target first, just use Drain Life until you don't need to use it anymore and then dot at the target. That way you won't take aggro from your Voidwalker. So the next thing we're going to talk about is Immolate. Immolate sucks compared to your other dots because it doesn't do as much, it has a cast time, it's super mana inefficient. The way you can tell which spells are your mana efficient spells is by finding out how much damage per point of mana they do. The way you find that out is by taking the amount of damage they do and dividing that number by the amount of mana they cost. Do that with all your spells and bam, that's how much damage they do per point of mana. Now if you insist on using Immolate, at least don't use it as an opener. The reason being is because Immolate has too high of an initial damage when you use it, and it's really hard for your Voidwalker to catch up on aggro. So when you use Immolate and start using your other dots, your Voidwalker has a much lower chance of gaining aggro over the mob, and you'll end up just sitting there with that mob hitting you the whole time, wasting your health and mana. You know that slow, moronic friend that you have who just sucks at everything he does, especially at video games? So whenever you're forced to play with him, you give him really easy, simple menial tasks to do, which he still manages to screw up, which ruins the game for everyone else. Well, there is a World of Warcraft version of that friend, and it's called the Voidwalker. Leveling a lock smoothly requires a lot of paying attention to your Voidwalker and how many taunts it's getting off. It's really easy to pull aggro off it. For example, I sometimes will wait for my Voidwalker to get 2 or so taunts off before I start DPSing. Depending on my level and which rank of taunt my Voidwalker has, that number can change. I will wait for a certain amount of taunts to go off before I start DPSing. This allows me, for one, my Voidwalker to get more aggro so I don't pull aggro, and 2, so that I can reposition myself so that I don't aggro any more adds while I'm DPSing. So you're not just doing nothing while your Voidwalker is getting his taunts off, you're repositioning yourself and making sure that you're in a good spot. Notice during this gameplay that I'm still able to kill these mobs fairly quickly, and I have full mana and health at the end of each fight, as opposed to the earlier gameplay footage where my mana is almost half gone after killing just one mob. So keep in mind that this is not the only way to level a Warlock. It might not even be the most effective way to level a Warlock. These are just a few principles that I have found which work really well for me. If you're new or you're struggling and haven't found a good way to level your Warlock yet, these principles might help. With a class like a Warlock, there's going to be a million different ways to do anything, so just take all of this with a grain of salt. And don't not experiment different ways for yourself that you think might work better. Hey guys, be sure to like and comment and subscribe to the channel. Also hit that little bell notification button. And in spite of popular demand, I do stream. And well, actually, based off of the things that they're mailing me in-game, it appears as though Asmongold fans and Soda Poppin' fans seem to enjoy the stream. So be sure to not miss those. Everyone right now needs to go down in the description section and click on the Twitch link and follow me on Twitch. I'll also leave my Patreon link in the description below, just in case you want to help me fund my dream of quitting my job so I can stay home, make videos, and play video games all day. If you support me on Patreon, you are going to have access to all of my deleted videos and all of the videos that I decided not to put up on my YouTube channel because I thought they were either too cringy or too dumb or or whatever. I'm also going to have exclusive streams for patrons on the Patreon page. Also, the merch store link is going to be in the description below as well. Yeah. So, you've just been filled in.